Are you losing friends? Did anyone tell you, stop being such a pick me girl? You may want to listen to this episode on female friendship etiquette. Welcome back to Through the Looking Glass podcast. My name is Lavanya. My goal is to empower listeners, even in the smallest way possible, and improve your well being. If you found my podcast and enjoying it, please take a minute to follow and rate the show. It really would make a huge difference for a brand new show and lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you want to know more about me, behind the scenes, and podcast clips, follow me on Instagram. I may not know a lot of things, but I know friendship. If you don't know what a pick me girl means, let's start there. According to Urban Dictionary, a pick me girl is a girl who seeks male validation by indirectly or directly insinuating that she is not like the other girls. I think this slang started around 2017. Definitely wasn't coined when I was in undergrad, but if you're on social media, you've definitely heard it. The gist of it is when a woman tries to appear carefree at the expense of making other women look bad. While it's not the worst trait out there to seek validation from people you love, the problem is when you're willing to throw other women under the bus for the sake of pleasing a man. The best pop culture example of pick me girl I can think of is Carrie from Sex and the City. I know she's loved by many, but hear me out. When she was with Aiden, she did this a lot. One particular example was when Miranda was pregnant and not sure if she wanted to keep the baby. She tells Aiden. She even spells how Charlotte is having a hard time getting pregnant, and they get into this whole conversation about abortion. And she lies to him, saying that she's never had one. Her whole internal monologue was about how she didn't want him to see her differently. The way she acted was very much, look at my girlfriends and their flaws, and look, I'm not like them. I'm better. I've never had an abortion. The whole episode was a great example of how she wanted to portray herself as this perfect woman to Aiden, and she was willing to spill really personal details about her friends to a man she was seeing. Details that these friends certainly wouldn't want him or anyone really to know. Later in the episode, she does confess that she's had an abortion herself, and she even mentions how she doesn't want Aiden to look or think of her differently knowing this about her, and that's why she lied about it. She's done stuff like this throughout the series, but I thought this particular one was so apparent on how much she tries to gain male validation at the expense of her friends. Carrie was the OG pick-me girl on TV. It's not the kind of behavior I can endorse. As women, we should be supporting each other. No man is worth betraying your friends over. Buying into this general attitude about other women by trying to appear low maintenance or chill or down to earth is not serving your higher interest. Being authentic to who you are is more attractive both to women and men. I think we've all experienced being a version of a pick-me girl or burned by a friend who is. It's frustrating, and no one wants to be friends with a pick-me girl. So let's break the cycle. I want to break down 5 steps you can take to shift from a pick-me girl to a girl's girl. Maybe you didn't grow up with sisters and no one told you these things. A classic pick-me girl statement is, I get along better with guys. Maybe growing up with mostly men messes up your girl code radar. I don't really know what creates a pick-me girl, but my goal as your internet sister is to help you grow and evolve. The first sign of a pick-me girl is when you drop everything for a guy you started seeing, especially when it looks like deprioritizing your friends. Maybe it's your girlfriend's birthday party or a standing brunch with the girls. A girl's girl would prioritize her time with her friends equally to romantic relationships. Trying to be flexible to your boyfriend's schedule, bending backwards to accommodate his priorities, and scheduling to his free time is all trying too hard. You should feel secure enough to honor your own life, plans, and expectations. A girl's girl would be true to all of her relationships, not just romantic ones. She also understands the importance of female friendships and appreciates the women who are there for her. The sentiment extends to male friends too. Don't change your friendships to ease the ego of a guy that you're dating. Boyfriends may come and go, but women in your life could be with you forever, as long as you aren't a pick me girl. Step two to go from pick me girl to girl's girl is dealing with peer pressure. This one has so many layers to it. Are you doing something just because it's trendy? Are you trying to one up everyone in your friend group? Basically, working overtime to show that you are amazing is a classic pick me girl behavior. This can be small things like dressing a certain way and pointing out that you're not high maintenance like other girls. An example would be wearing sneakers and pointing out wearing heels is trying too hard. Wear sneakers, wear heels, doesn't matter as long as you're doing it for yourself. The worst part is when girls pick on each other for things like clothes or makeup, and I think it's rooted in trying to compete to prove who's good or better. I've been on the receiving end of this type of behavior for my girly sense of style. I wear heels and dresses because I like it and it feels like me. I'm not doing it to please a guy. If you are someone who likes sneakers, go for it. Honestly, this borderline bullying is a telltale sign of the type of friend you should get rid of in your 20s. Anyways, my point is focus on being your authentic self and stop worrying about external expectations. The opposite of being a pick me girl is being true to your own likes and dislikes, despite what other people think, as long as you aren't hurting anyone in the process. Another example can be signing up to do something to fit into a guy's idea of fun. Maybe he wants to go skydiving, but if you're deadly afraid of heights, don't do it just to prove to him you're cool. The cool girl will say, hell no, and trust you can find something else to do together that you both enjoy. It's about letting go of insecurities and being confident in who you are. If a guy doesn't like you, then who cares? There'll be so many other men who would like you just the way you are. Step three of a recovering pick me girl is working on maturity. We don't mature through age. We mature in self-awareness. Pick me girls are typically acting immature. Maybe this comes from pointing out flaws or perceived flaws about other girls in a group setting. Saying things like, your makeup must have taken so long is a classic example of trying to criticize other women in front of everyone while wearing makeup themselves. The whole backhanded comments and comparison game is super immature. It stems from making everything about themselves. I bet this girl who makes these comments about you is exactly the type of person to copy you the next time you see them. So really the whole act needs to go. It's actually internalized misogyny and it's harmful behavior to put down classic feminine traits as negative or weak. The first sign of maturity is not reacting to others' immaturity. Pick me girls may be out there trying to make another girl look bad, but joke's on them because being non-reactive speaks volumes. And when you don't engage, it leaves no room for them to make you look bad. If you do need a comeback, ask a question back. Do you not like makeup? I think it's so creative and it doesn't take me very long. Own up to your interest and don't let others' opinions change you so easily. Staying true to yourself is also part of maturing in life. Being a girl's girl is all about uplifting the women around you and complimenting other women sincerely. If you like a girl's makeup or outfit, tell them that in a polite manner. Don't judge or tear down women for their differences, especially to look cooler in front of everyone. Next, I want to talk about gossiping. Everyone loves tea, including me, but you should really have some boundaries to oversharing, especially when it's about other people. This goes back to my example about Carrie spilling tea to her boyfriends. It's betraying your friend's trust to make yourself look better than them. Saying things like, so and so's boyfriend did this, or they broke up again over X. If your friend wants everyone to know a personal detail, they can share it themselves. Pick me girls have zero filter. Literally everything you say to them gets repeated to everyone else. It ties in with the lack of maturity too, right? Another gossiping trait is when someone is always talking about their own love life. It's always stories about dates. It focuses a lot of energy on themselves, kind of like trying to display certain traits or behaviors for the approval of others. In my dating rules episode, I even mentioned keeping it private as one of the rules. When you need to get so much approval and validation about your dating life, it starts to become more about you rather than finding an equal loving partner. Literally everything about gossiping is low vibration and it is a big no no in my book. Anyone who knows me in real life knows I'm a fault. I think it's a classic girl's girl trait. It shows you are loyal, trustworthy, and reliable. Nurturing female friendships is super important. Dating is only one part of your life, and you need all the other relationships to be fulfilled. Another great trait of a girl's girl is when someone defends their friend. And that's my step 5 to stop being a pick me girl. If someone is demeaning your friend or excluding them in some way, a true friend would back you up. In my book, that's like the highest level of a real friend. This can also look like advocating for other women in a room full of men, particularly at work. That's another space women tend to be pitted against each other to succeed, and I think it's patriarchy messing with our heads again. It's possible for you to succeed while another woman wins at work and in life. Let's move away from this limiting mindset, which feels like the root of pick me psychology. Also, I think pick me girls have a tendency to be people pleasers, so maybe it stems from that to impress a new friend at the expense of an old friend. I've seen this type of thing play out in my 20s, and those friendships never lasted. I'm such a friendship girl, and I wouldn't have passed 10 plus years of friendship by throwing a friend under the bus to impress a new group of people. It can be hard because I do empathize with wanting to fit in and be cool, but be careful who you are hurting. You might lose a true loyal friend when you are too invested in seeking validation from everyone else. So that wraps up my 5 steps or areas to work on to go from a pick me to a girl's girl. This podcast is a safe place to explore these topics. It is totally okay to admit you've done some of these behaviors. What matters is being self aware and growing from these experiences. I encourage listeners to reflect if this is an area you need to work on. If you have more questions or need help navigating these situations, write to me and I would love to answer these questions in another episode. That is all I have for this week. Wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for listening or watching to Through the Looking Glass podcast.